right, big news last night. Is Dalvin Cook, Jonathan Taylor, coming to the Dolphins or not? Seems to be the hot to trot talk now. We're going to have to go through this whole thing. So I'm going to cover that Taylor situation today. And then I'm going to wrap up my Texans coverage. And then I'm really going to kind of point our eyes towards this Jags game. I really billed and thought the Texans game was going to be the high point of evaluation. But now that we're at 17 games, 18-week schedule, and the preseason has been cut down, you never really know when the starters are coming in. But these starters with the Jags is a playoff team. They got talent in areas to challenge position groups that we really need to get a look at. And that's the biggest part about preseason is seeing talent versus talent in one-on-one matchups. Everything else to me is fog of war. So this is such a critical moment. I am hyped to see how this plays out. So that will be the whole thing. I'll talk about Wilkins, the holdout, and a little bit at the end on the chosen. And then I'm going to also do a top 5 plays from the Texan game, trying to jazz up the joint with the entertainment factor. And it was fun to do. I was listening to Beastie Boys, Sabotage as I was cutting the film, so I was pretty amped. So let's open up with the top 5 plays. Number 5. A-Chain on 3rd and 14 rips it up the gut with lightning fast speed for the first down. But Robert Jones turning his guy, yoking him up, and prying the door open for A-Chain was the thing of beauty on this play. Number 4, Skyler's on the move. The pressure's breaking down. Throws an ad hoc dart first down in the air. Shows the kids got composure. And A-Chain holding on to the ball is the cherry on top. Number 3. You're not supposed to blitz in preseason, but we did, and David Long Jr. made it look great. Tackling on the move and wrestling and ripping the runner to the ground was sweet. Number 2. Mostert's our best runner, and this was the best run of day in a closing window. Blocking breaks down. Connor can't get to his guy. Mostert sees the whole backside and uses excellent vision and speed to get through for a beautiful run. Number 1. After an ugly first drive, Tua comes back and caps it off with this beauty, thrown over the arms of the outstretched defender with pressure coming to his right. Window can't get any smaller than this, and this was a beautiful throw. All right, so those were my top 5 plays. I wanted to put the Ahmed run that broke to the outside for like 60. That was a beautiful run. I chose Mostert's run because it was tighter confines and I thought it was a better run, even though it wasn't as grand. And I wanted to put in the Skyler play to Berrios for the touchdown. I thought that was a real nice play as well. But those are my top 5. Let me know what you think. Where did I miss? And what did you think were your top 5 plays if I didn't put them in there? So I'll get into the big story now. Taylor or not the Taylor, Cook or not the Cook. It's the same thing over and over again. We're constantly put up there to talk about things that are, I don't see it as being possible. It's possible, but I don't think it's likely. And I'll go quickly over it. I was watching Alpha on 3 yards per carry. They covered just about everything needs to be talked about with this Taylor situation. Great show. Definitely check it out. So you want to check that out, you can. It was a good show. I'll add in a little 2 cents, but I want to tie something more concrete about why I don't think this is a possibility. Just remember, we didn't want Cook, except it was a song and dance and probably a 1-year contract. Okay, so we weren't willing to even, you could have got Dalvin Cook in here for what, $7 million, $8 million, maybe a little bit less because of the tax exemption. We weren't willing to go there. But now we're being told, well, there's chances we're going to send draft picks and then we're going to bring Taylor here he's forcing his way off the team because he wants a long-term commitment and a larger contract to support him now that he's a running back. He's been used a lot. So we're going to send out picks and we're going to tie ourselves in a larger contract, probably the 10 million range is what he's looking for. It just doesn't seem feasible. I'm going to get into why at the tail end and for the cap reasons quickly, because I think people miss something, and I'm going to just show you an image and so you can clearly understand. But just as for you to examine, I like Taylor. I think he's a very good back. I don't think he's great. I think he's very good. And you'll say, well, this stat here for the first 3 years or whatever. Well, let's take a look at this statistic line and understand something. So in 2020, he had 3 yards before contact. That means the offensive line gave him tremendous space. We haven't had 3 yards before contact since probably Zonka days. And then he added 2.2 for 5.2 yards per play. Okay, so that was a nice season, but that offensive line was unbelievable. Then he came back and he uplifted this offensive line where he got 2.6 in 2021. He got 2.6 yards before contact. Was the offensive play went down. They were probably dialing in on him on the defense. They were committing more to stopping the run, but he brought 2.8 yards after contact. And that's very rare. You don't really see the running back too often outproducing the offensive line. Phenomenal season. But there was 332 carries that season, and he had a 5.5 yards per carry. But then the following season, 2022 last year, he got 2.5 yards before contact, and then he got 2 yards after contact, was injured after 11 games, but dinged up across that and ended up with 4.5 yards per carry. And so Greer would have to take a guy who might be having problems with his health. He might have, you don't know, after 330 carries, the guy could have been ground up. You don't know what the long term, after so many hits, you just start going down. I'm not saying it's here, but it could be. And then look at the production he's got in his blocking. We don't get that kind of production for him. And so when you tie it up with the picks going out, with the money going out, and the longer term commitment, when you understand we're $32 million in the deficit next year, and some people say, well, we can cut this guy, and this guy, and we'll be fine. We have plenty of money. Well, that's not how it works. And I'm going to show you very succinctly in one player. And you got to understand, pre-June cuts and post-June cuts are two separate things. You've got to wait to post-June to have the player and his contract, then you cut him so the money's on the books. If you want the money for your free agency and to sign your own free agents, you got to do pre-June. And some people are like, we can get rid of X. Well, look right here in 2024. If we cut him pre-June, it's $23 million in dead money and we'll save 2.8. You cannot cut X. Another example, you can cut Agba and he has 13.8 that you'll save, but you're going to lose 4 in dead money, so you're getting 9. And so you have to remember when you're talking about cutting players, are you cutting them pre or post-June? Post-June, you get more money. But we're not able to do that because we're in the negative 32. We've got to sign Wilkins. Worst case scenario, you're going to put a franchise tag on him, and that's $20 million. That's going to bring you to 52 negative. And then you're going to have Sealer, Hunt, and Connor, and other guys you might need to sign. Plus, you're going to go in and you're going to have to deal with the Tua situation. So, to me, Taylor, just from a financial standpoint, makes zero sense. You spent your third on an A-chain. You've got Mostert and you got Wilson for 2 years, and you might have Ahmed who you can bring back. I think that's where they're going. I think this Taylor thing is just, it's a way of just getting easy hits, and it's going to go nowhere. It's like fantasy land. But that's my take. We'll see about that. So I want to get into the rest of the show. But first, I want to say, guys, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate all you guys do. The likes, the subscribes, the comments. That's how this show goes. And, I'm learning now to be a little savvy. I'm not that way. But, guys, everything you could do to help this channel out keeps me in doing the thing that I love. So please help me out. Like, subscribe, comment, and here's the hip term. If you've subscribed, click the notification bell, and that bell will ring when I do my thing, and then you'll know I'm doing my thing, and you can stop by. Anyway, guys, I appreciate all you do. Give you a shout out, and a shout out to A-Spread, my sponsor, because without the two of you, this show ain't going down. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. All right, so again, Wilkins, he's still holding out or holding. It can become a holdout week 1 if he doesn't show. It's going to get very, very interesting because I don't know what Wilkins, his intentions are. Again, this was on Alf's 3 yards per carry, and they were saying that, if he's not signed by the Tuesday prior to the start of the season, we're going to have problems. And I don't know if Wilkins is going. If Wilkins holds out, he can. I forgot how many. He can go like 4 or 5 weeks or something. But it might be too late by then for the season. We need to win 2 out of those first 4 games, and those are going to be challenging games. And Wilkins does make a huge difference, and he can hold out up until that point, and he won't take a huge hit. We got to wait and see. I don't know, but it could be getting to the point of bad mojo between Greer and Wilkins, and it's another reason I think Alf mentioned it. Why you don't sign Taylor, because you're going to give him money and still not pay Wilkins. So this is a very, very interesting thing. We have to see. Maybe he's just holding out, letting him know he's serious, and he'll come show up week 1. But it could get ugly. Let's see how that plays out. Now, the coverage situation. Cam's still dealing with his shoulder issue. Ramsey's going to be out for a while. We've got to get the right coverage. X is playing unbelievable. Although there's stuff going on behind him, man. This guy is living like one of those soap opera lives in the background. I'm not going to get into that. But on the field, this is the best I've seen X play. And I think if X is healthy and he's playing like this, he's going to hold up this secondary until Ramsey gets back. But you need other guys around because you just go, I'm not throwing to X, I'm going over here. And there's ways to mitigate it. Not so much in zone, though, but we'll see. Now, Long Jr., he had a good game, good in coverage, which I like. That was a very important key for us. Tyndall, people talked about it. He had some good coverage. But guys, remember, he's in the tail end of a preseason game. This is low-end stuff. And his average depth of target was -5 yards. So I heard there was 2 good coverages. I still haven't finished the back end of the tape. We'll see. But he's playing back end of the preseason game from what I remember. And that's not good. That means you're not really trusting him. So it'll be very interesting to see if he gets a bump up this week and they let him play with the big boys. And if he could come in this week and play with the big boys earlier or early, and he gets that kind of coverage, I think I'm going to start getting hyped. Now, Noah, this play right here says all it needs to be said about Noah. I mean, he just whiffs, and he whiffs all the time. You go back to my original coverage from a couple of years ago, I said he just skirts, he shies away from contact, and you can't have that, especially in zone. He's terrible. As not good as he is in coverage, he's worse in the run defense, which is weird. He was billed as a physical guy in college, but he wants nothing to do with the physical part of this game. And you could do that if you're Dion, but if you're Noah, this is like ugly upon ugly, excuse me, man, turn to yellow cheek. It might be better, and it's worse than the one we saw before. No, you can't. It's bad. And I don't see how this guy makes this team. I just don't. Unless some huge thing happens, we see some magical thing against the Jags. We might keep him because of problems, a lack of depth, but he's not good. Now, I saw Cater get beat on the late clock. But he struggled a little bit in his coverage, and he came up and he was beaten on a run play, which I was surprised. I wonder if something that was going on with him. He missed a day or two. If there was an injury there, if it's slowing him down, I don't know. I'm just saying I didn't see a Cater game that I usually expect. Deshaun Elliott, the safety, his play went up a little bit. Now, this is not a good passing offense, and that's got to add into it, context. But it was good to see at least Elliott stepping up. Holland struggled a little bit too. Elliott struggled a little bit. I'm wondering if they're trying to find their way, working together. So that's going to be something to keep your eyes on as well. A little bit of an off game for Holland. So this secondary, it looked good, but we were playing against a very, very poor passing offense. And so this is another aspect. I know I talk offensive line a lot, but this secondary going against Lawrence early is going to be a very, very, very interesting piece for this evaluation against the Jags. To me, the secondary and the offensive line with the blocking of the tight ends is the two main pieces. Don't think we're going to see Tua. Now, Chosen, I've been high on Chosen. I think the leverage that he can create, the ability to have a fast guy who's taller in case like Waddle or Hill's not in, it's important. I think he's going to make the team, but he's a terrible run blocker as well. We got a lot of guys that are smaller guys that aren't good run blocking. Waddle's not too good. Berrios is not too good. Chosen's the worst. Hill gets pretty good once in a while. He's not going to drive you off or whatever, but he gets there and he does some good stuff. But we really need some receivers to create run blocking. There's a famous video out there, McDaniel saying the receivers blocking is critical to his run game. So I'm a little down on what I've seen from the Chosen one as far as the blocking. So anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by. Tomorrow I'm going to have an all-offensive line podcast, all offensive line, about evaluating all offensive line. I said all this stuff about it, and then I got this thing. But I did it a couple days ago, so, but I'm working on it, guys. Still going to cover the offensive line, but try to branch out and be a little bit more effective and fun. Anyway, Curtis saying, catch you next time. Be well. See you soon. Go Phins. Start building your own online sportsbook today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.